Thank you. We are now being recorded on WebEx and also live on YouTube.
Good morning. I will do my best to project my voice. I'm off screen. This is Jill. Welcome. I just want to begin by first acknowledging Dr. Weir for his years of dedicated service as the chair of the New York State DNA Subcommittee. Dr. Weir has served on the DNA Subcommittee since 2019. He began shortly before the pandemic, and his consistent leadership, flexibility, and adaptability has kept the DNA Subcommittee moving forward through unprecedented times. He's been a valued asset to the laboratories within New York State and the entire forensic science field. As a token of our appreciation and thanks, we would like to present you with this plaque.
Thank you. Oh, that's nice.
Would anyone else like to make any comments?
I would. This is Fred Bieber. Bruce, congratulations to you. And I'm not sure everybody knows, probably they do, that you were duly elected as an honorand of the Royal Society, which is really an amazing and outstanding accomplishment. And congratulations, Bruce, and thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
And I'd like to second that.
Hi, Amanda. May I respond? So thank you, Jill, and others. So a bittersweet moment, of course. This committee's been a lot of fun to be part of, and I'll be sorry to see it go. I'm planning to retire at the end of June, and then probably move back to my native country, New Zealand, and do some work down there, still in forensic science and in genetics. So I think DNA science and forensic science is well established now. It's a good science, strong science. It's not a static science. We're seeing innovations all the time. Seen the huge impact of probabilistic genotyping recently and the whole new way of thinking. So that's exciting. But I think it's fair to say that in the US, at least, the maturity of the field owes a lot to New York State and the Commission and this committee. And even from afar, I was aware of the work of this committee over the years and how they've been proactive as well as supportive and ensuring high standards are met across the discipline. So it's been a privilege to be part of it. And I'm sure you'll be successful in the future. And I hope that the committee, with its multiple expertise areas, can continue to serve the Commission and the community more widely. We have a lot of collective wisdom, which I know we're always willing to share with the members of the New York State Commission and the community. So thank you. And should we move on to business? So could we just go around the room quickly, just introduce ourselves? So we'll go around everybody, maybe, I guess. So Bruce Weir, University of Washington, and chair of the committee.
Catherine Gettings, NIST committee member.
Shelley Palmer, Laboratory Accreditation Specialist with the Office of Forensic Services at DCJF.
Brianna Robinson, Accreditation Specialist, also with the Office of Forensic Services.
Thank you. Jill.
Julie, Director for the Office of Forensic Services.
Colleen Glavin, DCJF's Office of Legal Services.
Thank you.
Kathleen Corrado, Syracuse University, and member.
Thank you. And we've got two guests from OCME with us this morning, so welcome to you both. So this is May the 12th, 2023. So I'll call the meeting of the New York State Commission Subcommittee on DNA to order. So I'll call the roll, and if you'll just answer present. So Dr. Bieber.
Frederick Bieber here.
Thank you. Dr. Gettings.
Catherine Gettings, present.
Thank you. Dr. Souza.
Amanda Souza, present.
Okay, Dr. Corrado.
Kathy Corrado, present.
Thank you. And myself, so that gives us a quorum, so we may proceed. So thank you. So you've all received the draft agenda of today's meeting. Is there any discussion regarding the agenda? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the agenda for this meeting?
So moved. Catherine Gettings.
Gettings. Second.
Second.
Dr. Corrado. And when I call upon you, please state your vote. So Dr. Beaver,
Fred Bieber,
and then
aye.
and my vote is aye. Thank you. Dr. Gettings,
Catherine Gettings, aye.
Dr. Souza,
Amanda Tozer, aye.
thank you, Dr. Corrado.
Kathy Corrado, aye.
So the motion carries and the agenda is adopted. So you've all received draft minutes of February 3rd, 2023 meeting. Is there any discussion regarding these minutes? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes, please? Dr. Souza?
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Thank you. And Dr. Beaver, did you want to second that?
Yes, Fred Bieber, I second the motion.
So I have to abstain. I was not present. But for approval, Dr. Beaver, how do you vote?
Fred Bieber votes aye. Approve.
Dr. Gettings,
Catherine Gettings, aye.
Dr. Souza,
Amanda Tozer, aye.
Dr. Corrado.
Kathy Corrado, aye.
I'm not sure if it's a formal pass, is it correct? Okay, thank you. So the motion carries.
Still passes. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. All righty. So moving on to business. Accreditation and laboratory updates, New York City OCME, Department of Forensic Biology. We have a letter dated April 20th regarding the new DNA technical leader. So, Jill, did you want to explain just what the letter says?
Sure. In April, the laboratory notified PCJS of a change in management. The Assistant Director of Forensic Biology, Tiffany Vasquez, will now be the role of DNA Technical Leader effective May 1st.
Very nice, thank you. So that's nice, so we congratulate Dr. Vasquez on her new position and wish her well for that. And then we have a letter of February 6th regarding continuation of accreditation based on a surveillance activity with the final assessment report and scope of accreditation. So I gather, Dr. Dooley, this was positive, is that correct?
Yeah, in January, the New York State Police Crime Laboratory underwent a surveillance assessment. There were no findings, and A&AD has issued a continuation of accreditation based on the assessment activity.
Thank you. So that was very nice report. So congratulations to the place. Excuse me, that was the New York State Crime Lab. And in Erie County, we have a surveillance document, as you've seen. Dr. Dooley, just remind us the Erie County situation.
Sure. In April, the Erie County Central Police Services Forensic Laboratory underwent a surveillance assessment. There were no findings. The laboratory is waiting on final documents from A&EB.
And then we have one more from Monroe County, surveillance document review assessment report. And Dr. Dooley, remind us about that.
Yeah, in April, the laboratory underwent a surveillance assessment. There were no findings for this laboratory as well, and the laboratory is also waiting on final documents from A&EB.
Thank you. So it looks like very nice set of reports. Any comments from the committee members? So obviously very good work going on across the state. Thank you. So moving on to old business, Dr. Dooley, do we have a partial match update?
There is no update from the past several meetings for partial match, so everything remains the same. There's been no additional cases.
Thank you. And familial searching.
The familial search program is still paused. We are awaiting the date for the appeal to be heard.
Right. And is there any timeline on that you're aware of?
The Court of Appeals does not hear arguments over the summer, so it will be no sooner than September.
Okay.
So we wait to see the posting.
Okay. Well, that's important, and hope that goes well. CODIS, any updates from CODIS?
There's no relevant CODIS updates at this time.
No relevant bulletins. And video conferencing policy, Natasha, do you want to remind us about video conferencing policy?
Sure. At the last meeting, we had a hearing regarding the video conferencing policy and procedures. If you recall, back in 2022, the governor passed the law, Chapter 56 of the laws of 2022, that allowed public bodies to attend meetings remotely under extraordinary circumstances, for example, disability, childcare, or other circumstances. As you remember, currently before we adopted this, if you want to attend remotely, you had to provide your location no matter where you were. And I know, and not just members here, other members had issues with providing their home location when they wanted to attend from their residence. So this law allows the public bodies to attend remotely under extraordinary circumstances and not provide their location. So at the last meeting, we did have the open hearing and we received no comments at the time. So now we can go ahead and formally vote on the resolution and the related procedures.
Thank you. And that's the document we were provided, I believe. So any comments on that? Yes, thank you. Yeah, it was quite explicit. So it's nice to see that we're moving back to in-person meetings, but with appropriate provision for remote when necessary. All right, thank you. So do I have a motion to accept the extraordinary circumstances video conferencing resolution and the related procedures? Do I have a motion?
So moved, Catherine
Dr.
Giddings.
Giddings, and a second,
I'll second.
Corrado. So when I call on you, please vote. My vote is aye. Dr. Bieber?
Fred Bieber, aye.
Thank you. Dr. Giddings?
Catherine Giddings, aye.
Thank you. Dr. Souza?
Aye. Amanda Souza, aye.
Thank you. Dr. Corrado?
Kathy Corrado, aye.
Thank you. So the motion passes. So laboratory disclosures, Westchester County Department of Labs and Research Division of Forensic Sciences, an unauthorized access to evidence receiving area. So we have an email chain, and Dr. Dooley, would you tell us about that, please?
Sure. This is an initial notification of a county employee gaining unauthorized access to the laboratory's evidence receiving area. The person did not attempt to enter the secured vaults. The laboratory has mandated an employee remain in that area at all times until additional security logs and new card swipes with keypads for specific areas are received. They have made that request to their county, and the laboratory is investigating the issue and will provide updates.
Thank you. And any comments from committee members? So it appears that things are in hand to stop this happening when it shouldn't. So thank you. So no vote is required. Thank you. Erie County Central Police Services Forensic Laboratory, missing identification of spermatozoa on cell pellet slides. We have an email chain regarding initial notification of a record of non-conforming work, an A and AB acknowledgement. Dr. Dooley, would you explain that, please?
Sure, I'll give a scenario, but I do think it would be helpful if we did get Maria and Tom on as well for
Sure,
further
please
explanation.
do that. Thank you.
So I just want to say this is an initial notification of a casework analyst missing the identification of spermatozoa on cell pellet slides. The missed identification was identified during a reanalysis of the analyst slides. The case was already scheduled to undergo DNA analysis. So the change was only in the extraction method that was to be used. An amended report will be issued. A review of all the negative slides issued by that analyst resulted in 3 additional cases being impacted, and a corrective action is being initiated. If we could just get them on in case anyone has any questions.
Thank you.
We've elevated them up.
So I see Maria is there, and is Tom Grill joining?
Maria, you're unmuted.
Oh, there we are. Thank you. So welcome to you both. Did you want to elaborate on this situation for us? Bring us up to date, please.
It was summed up pretty well. We do a reanalysis of our negative kits, and upon reanalysis, we found sperm that were missed originally by the analyst, and because of that, we went back and looked at his additional cases, and we found 3 more that needed to be amended as well. So moving forward, we're putting him back on supervised slide review. So his next 10 negative slides are going to be reviewed by a second analyst. And then after that, 1 negative slide per sexual assault kit for the next 5 sexual assault kits are going to be reviewed. And then we also purchased slides with grid lines to help him with his sperm searches.
Thank you. So this finding came about from a routine reanalysis that it was part of your normal procedure to check?
Yes.
Yes.
That's good, isn't it? That you have that in place. That if there is a problem, it's found. Any other comments from the committee members?
What is the percentage of cases that are reanalyzed or slides, or, how often is this done?
Our reanalysis program only provides for 1 sexual assault kit for non-buccal sample per year, because most of our analysts use Casework Direct for Y-screen. So this is just this cut analyst that we're doing training using the traditional method before they were online for Casework Direct.
Can you explain your process a little more, how you use the Y-screen, and also when these slides are made, at what step in your process these slides are being made, and how it changes the course of the extraction method? Can I give us a picture of the
So there's essentially 2 ways to analyze a sexual assault kit. One is the traditional method, and with that, analysts are first doing PSA on the swabs. If it's positive, they then make a slide to confirm sperm. Or they can analyze it with Casework Direct, and in that method, they're just cutting half of a swab, extracting it, and quinting it. So there's no slides prepared in that method.
And in what cases would they need to do the traditional method? How would that decision be made normally?
Casework Direct can't be used on like a male-male case. So those cases would be made traditionally. All analysts are trained in both methods. So a new analyst would be trained traditionally first before he goes on to Casework Direct as well.
And then it says in the record of nonconforming work that this outcome changed the extraction method. So can you talk about what that means? Explain to us what that means.
So if there was sperm identified, the extraction method would have been a differential extraction. In this case, because the analyst missed the sperm, it just went on to a straight regular extraction without the differential.
Okay, so in a PSA positive, sperm negative case, it goes to a regular extraction rather than a differential.
Correct.
And in the Casework Direct case, what are the possible outcomes there? Yes.
Depending on what the quants are and what the auto to male DNA ratio is, it can either go on to a differential, or you could just amp the Casework Direct extract.
And then, I'm sorry, when is the slide made? You may have already said this, but in a traditional method, when is the slide made? Is it from the lysate, the first lysate? Or is it from the actual kit? Sorry.
So all the swabs are first screened with PSA, and then if it is positive, a slide is made from that swab from the kit that the PSA testing was done on.
Okay, not part of the extraction process. It's just a slide made from a swab, separate cutting from the PSA and separate cutting from the DNA extraction.
Right,
Is that right? Okay. Sure.
Hi, Tom, just another question. So for the Casework Direct,
how do you make the decision whether or not to do a differential? Is it based on the quant or is it based on a previous sperm search?
It's based on the quant and the information you have in the case. If we do casework direct, we're not screening for sperm automatically, so it's based on the quant and the information from the case.
I guess my only question then is this person, if they have missed sperm in a case, is there a chance that a case should have had a differential extraction that didn't because of the person missing sperm? It sounds like no, based on what you just said, but I just want to confirm that.
No, that is a possibility. The sample still would have went forward with DNA, but there is a chance that a differential could have been done and wasn't.
So do you feel, does the lab feel it necessary to perhaps go back and look at any of those cases?
Yes, we are going back and looking at all of his cases, negative cases.
Yeah,
All the negative cases that had a sperm search.
This particular analyst, just to clarify, he is still in DNA training, so he is not signed off to perform the casework direct screening. So like the traditional method by making slides and PSA testing is all that he can do right now.
So is your plan to go back and review any of the cases that he worked that were sperm negative, and even if you had moved forward with them for DNA, to see if maybe you could get a better sperm fraction, or are you looking at that kind of thing at all?
Yes.
Okay. But all of his negative cases?
All of his negative cases, yes. He just got signed off last year, so there wasn't too many. I think there was 16 total that we're looking at.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you so much. So I'm thinking about, I guess you have validation to support this, but I'm trying to understand the reason why, if you have a PSA positive, why wouldn't you just do a differential anyway? I think that's what most labs do. So is it that you think you're going to lose some of the DNA that might be in the epithelial fraction by doing that differential, or is it because of the effort of doing a differential? Like the additional effort to do.
There's a possibility that you could lose some of the DNA doing the differential, and if there's no sperm identified, then I guess part of the reason would be there's no reason to do a differential if there's no sperm. Okay.
I think this might highlight a reason to do it, right? When you have a very low level of sperm and you might not detect it in the, even it might not be on the slide, but it might have been on the swab, right? This very low level seems like it could go either way, whether you see it on the slide or not. So I'm curious to see if you know, re-extracting these with the differential, if it does change the outcome, and you can consider what that means for your protocols.
Yes, that is a possibility. You're correct.
Okay. Dr. Bieber also was.
Any other comments from the committee? So, thank you.
Sorry, Dr. Bieber.
Fred, did you have something?
Yes,
Oh, sorry.
I wonder what part of the sperm is required for you to determine that a sperm or part of a sperm is present. The reason I ask is we've seen cytology reports sometimes come to us from prosecutors where elderly women in nursing homes get routine screening, including the pap smear, and the cytology reports state sperm cells present. And the alarm bells go off, of course. And when they send us the cytology pap smear slides, we review them and find no evidence of sperm. But what we do see sometimes is shards of debris that when you make the slide from the pap smear, it could look a little bit like a sperm tail, but it's really not. It's just debris. What is required for your team to say sperm is present? You need the whole intact spermatozoon?
They don't have to have tails. If there's only a trace amount identified, it has to be reviewed by a second analyst.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just the head.
Okay, thank you.
Tom, are you using the Christmas tree stain?
Yes.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Mandy.
Yeah, was a root cause analysis done on this situation? Do you know why this, the cause of this happening?
We're still in process with the root cause analysis. We're actually in the process of looking at negative kits from other analysts.
Okay.
Right now, we're in the process of getting the submitting agencies to bring them back because all of our evidence is released back to the submitting agency.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? So this was very helpful. So thank you both for joining us. So I just have one more little item. So I think at least 2 meetings ago we set up a working group to look at DNA reporting documents. Dr. Beaver and Kid and myself. So we had some good discussions with members of the OCME, New York State Police, and I think Suffolk County, and the BioTwig. So helpful discussions, and we just need to wrap up. I'm not sure whether we'll have any kind of a formal report, but it's been a very helpful exercise, both for our working group and I think for the people we spoke to. So I think we have to ask you to stay tuned, and we'll bring something back, Dr. Beaver or Dr. Kidd, at the next meeting. So thank you for that. So do we have an executive session called for?
We do not.
We do not, okay. I'm not sure if we have any other business from the commission members or from the subcommittee members. Well, this is very sad, so so why am I smiling? All right. I believe we've finished our business, so thank you all. And we have a meeting scheduled, or you have a meeting scheduled for August the 4th in this very room, I believe. So do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, and we'll proceed? Dr. Giddings.
So moved.
And Dr. Corrado.
Second.
And I'll call on you to vote to adjourn the meeting. So I vote aye. Dr. Beaver.
Fred Bieber, aye.
Dr. Giddings.
Catherine Giddings, aye.
Thank you. Dr. Souza.
Amanda Sozer, aye.
And Dr. Corrado.
Kathy Corrado, aye.
So that motion carries. So that's a very sad point, but we have finished our meeting.
Thank you.
So it was nice to be with you again. But thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Bruce.
Yes,
Thanks,
thank you,
Bruce. We'll see
Bruce.
you. Thank you, Amanda.